Sananda is his true spiritual name. This was the teaching. He was the first person to teach, bring this teaching completely out in the public. That's why he had disciples and they were moving from location to location to location to location. This teaching already existed, but you would have to be initiated into the sacred order. You have to go to a place of our ancestors in Egypt. You have to go to South America. You have to go to the Himalayas in India, in Tibet. You have to go to the sacred sites in Persia to be given this sacred teaching. And Jesus was the only person, the first person who incarnated to actually openly teach this to anyone who was interested. This was his real mission. He did not come to save Jews. He did not come to actually sacrifice himself for all of it. But the thing about sacrifice is that you cannot embark on this project and go scot-free. Okay? The powers that be that do not want humanity to be enlightened will get you killed. This is why every other person who has come to take up this task never succeeded. Okay, first of all, we talked about the Inri, the nature of the fire. So Jesus was the one who came openly to teach these secrets about this sacred fire within us. This is what made us gods. This is what makes us in the image of our Maker. And unless human beings activate this fire, nature will always control us. Only the one who has actively activated this power in full force has complete authority over nature. Then you have become God. You get it? Now, as you all know, Christ is also a title. The one who has completely activated his or her godhood or goddesshood. This is what we know as the Christ. And there have been many. Jesus wasn't the only person. There have been many before him who have done this whole thing of enlightening, bringing this teaching out has been done in stages. Many people have begun, and Jesus or Sananda was the one who completed the task 2,000 years ago. He was the one who completed the task. And what it means is that to complete this task of bringing this teaching fully to the public of how to activate this divine fire within humans, what it means is that every human being has the opportunity to activate this fire fully in a single lifetime. Previously, it would take you at least 33 lifetimes. 33 lifetimes to activate this divine fire within yourself. And when Jesus completed his mission, it became possible for every human being who was ready, who was interested, to achieve this state in a single lifetime. This was the single greatest achievement of humanity. So understand Christ in this light, not Christ as the one who was crucified. That was a natural outcome for someone who decided to go up against the powers that be in that form. You can't do that and go scot-free, but it still does not matter. The most important thing is completing the task, and he did. As I said, many before him had done this. You have Mithras, you have Heru in Egypt, you have Osiris in Egypt, you have Thoth and Tahuti, also known as Tahuti. You have Quetzalcoatl in South America. You have Krishna, you have Rama. Okay, you have all these beings. As it started at the very beginning, the being that the Indians are calling Shiva, it is also a code. Okay, the beings are calling Shiva. And before that, there have been many. But in all, we would say that those who have taken this task up until the time of Jesus are exactly 33 in number. Now, you have always known the significance of the number 33. And the human vertebra, the spinal cord within every human, is 33 pieces. 33 pieces. The sacred fire that renews nature incessantly. This fire is buried within us. And this fire, when activated, rises through your spine. It rises through your spine. Now, when it reaches your heart area, your chest area, it does something. For the sake of this, for the sake of secrecy, we will not go deep into it. It reaches your heart, something happens. It reaches your inner sight, that is between your eyebrows. It does something until it pushes out of the top of your head. It pushes out of the top of your head. Then spiritually, we see it as a halo. The halos that you usually see in paintings of saints and of angels or of divine beings or of gods and goddesses, that circle above their head, it means that that sacred fire has been fully activated and it is risen. And it rises through 33 steps. Through the 33 steps of the human spinal cord, the human vertebra. And there are 33 teachings, 33 rituals, 33 initiations. You complete all the 33 initiations through this mission of becoming your own God self or Christ self. You have attained that state of Christhood. Then you are given the title, the Christ. So we have had Mithra, we have had Osiris, we have had Heru, we have had Zarathustra, we have had many other people. And any person is entitled to activate this Christ force within them. But if you decide, any other soul that has decided to take up the mantle to bring humanity as a whole closer to their Christ itself, that is a whole different mission altogether. There's the mission of individually coming into this incarnation and activating your own Christ self individually. And there was also another mission of someone coming into incarnation and trying to spiritually activate the Christ self of all humanity closer, a little bit closer to the completion point or the point of completion. This is why you have the Krishnas and the Ramas and Osiris and the and Dionysus and Zarathustras and Heru or Horus. Okay, so you realize that if you are taking up the global mantle of working on the transformation of the Christ self of the total human race, then your life follows a protocol. You know this in the order of Melchizedek. You've understood all this. Why there's so much controversy surrounding those who have come and have attained the Christ title. They all seem to have the same life events. They all seem to be born by a virgin. They all seem to be attacked by the monarch or the authority at that age. They all seem to have 12 disciples. They all seem to have aged up to 30 years or 33. You see, they all seem to have started their true mission at the age of 30 and died at 33. And the 33 is not the point of death. The 33 is the point of ascension. Elijah achieved ascension. That very moment between him, Elijah, the prophet Elijah, and his assistant Elisha, that chariot of fire is actually the God self. This fire we are talking about, Indi, the fire, Ignis Natura Renovatura Integra, this sacred fire of Godhood that completely changes you. As we said earlier on, if this fire blazes to a particular point, it cannot contain itself anymore. So it has to carry all of you, all of your essence into a spiritual state. You will never become a physical being anymore when the fire reaches a point of peak when it reaches a peak level, it will take you from physicality into non-physicality. And that is what happened to Elijah. When his assistant Elisha was allowed to witness it. So even in the Bible, before Jesus, Elisha was the first person in the Old Testament to witness the glory of ascension, of how it looks like. It has already been done in India by the yogis all the time, and their students are allowed to watch the ascension of their master. It has been done in ancient Egypt thousands of years before that. The god Horus did it in front of his disciples. Osiris did the same. Tehuti Thoth did the same. Amenhotep did the same, and many others. You see, and during the time of Christ, Yeshua, Ben Yosef, Emmanuel, Sananda, this is when he demonstrated it in front of all his disciples when he ascended. They also saw it, what it was all about. It was that at that point that the disciples really understood the entire teachings of Jesus Christ, because Jesus was talking about a lot of things, and even in the Bible it is stated that the disciples didn't even understand most of the things that Jesus was talking about. He was speaking in parables because it was all code. Unless you are truly initiated, you can't really understand the nature of the codes. And all these Christ beings who came spoke in codes. Krishna spoke in a lot of coded language in the Bhagavad Gita and many others. Okay, that is how it was. Now, as you activate the Christ self within you, you become godlike. And this flame, as it blazes forth, changes you. Now you've understood the Inri, you have understood Christ as your godhood, and you have understood activating your Christ self as an individual and activating the Christ self of your fellow human beings on a spiritual level. If you are doing that on a spiritual level globally, then your life will follow a particular storyline. It is there and it is fixed. It's like being a character in a movie. You have to play that role exactly as is being directed. Your life will follow it. Okay? If you decide, your life will follow it. This is what is explained in the book of Revelation when the tax was being announced. Who shall come to the earth to play this role? And none of those around stood up. It was only Yeshua who stood up and said that he will take up the task. It's not an easy task to take, because you know exactly what is going to happen to you. You know exactly what has happened to your predecessors when they tried to fight for the godhood of their fellow human beings. This is what happened. Just that during the time of Yeshua, he was going to be the last, and his lifetime, his work was going to be the most difficult, because if he had failed, then humanity would have been doomed. So this is what we can say for now about the Christ, and we hope that we are able to explain the controversy. While many people will say Christ did not exist, because they have ample information that says that he did not exist, he did exist. He was real. Yeshua was real. So was Osiris. So was Heru. So was Zarathustra. So was Krishna. So was Buddha. All of them were real. All of them took up that task. Okay, they took up that task, and that is the situation now. Okay, there have been many controversies surrounding whether Christ existed or not, because many researchers will correlate the story of Christ with many other similar stories and similar events, and this is the reason for it. The reason for the many correlation and similarities, because all those people too were real. It's just that they had taken a very special Christ task of actually bringing the Christ light of the entire human being a little closer to divinity. This is the difference. Now, this is the difference.